Hello everyone and welcome to Matt Echo Games. On today's inaugural episode I'd like to talk about some video game news. Basically just some of the stuff that's been happening lately and just kind of give my take on what's going on. Today I'm going to start with Cyberpunk 2077. Yesterday it went gold and I'm really excited because guess what? That means it's not going to be delayed again. How many of you were worried about that? I mean, I was. When I heard that they were having to go into crunch mode again, I was like, oh goodness, they're probably going to delay this game again because nobody likes crunch. And I understand that, you don't really want to put these people through that stuff. I understand that it's part of the gaming industry, but it sucks, man. You don't want to do that to people. It burns them out. It's not good. So I'm really, really excited, and I'd like to thank CD Projekt Red and everybody on the Cyberpunk 2077 crew for all the sacrifices that they've made to make sure that we get this game on time. It's definitely appreciated, guys. Moving along, I'd like to talk about what happened this past weekend with Japan giving its tastemakers and YouTubers a chance to get their hands on the PlayStation 5 for the first time. And I was really excited to see what they had to say. All they got to play was Astro's Playroom and Godfall, so it wasn't like too much about the gameplay, but I was excited to hear that it's very quiet and that the console stays nice and cool. Some of the other tidbits with the controller having the pluses, the triangles, the squares, and the circles all over the controller, I thought that was a neat little touch, but we'll see how that controller feels when we finally get our hands on it. After that, keeping with the Sony theme, I'd actually like to talk about the PS Plus game collection that you're going to be getting with PS Plus on the PlayStation 5. I don't know if they're trying to compete with Xbox Game Pass. Not that I mean, 20 games really isn't going to compete with over like 100. And PS Now is it's good. I've tried it. I haven't tried it with my current internet connection. The last time I tried it, I had kind of a poor internet connection, so I didn't really have too good of a go at it. I mean, the closest thing I did was I played maybe quarter of the way into Red Dead Redemption, the first one, and it played well enough. I felt like it didn't feel obviously like you're playing at home on a console, but I didn't feel like the latency was too bad. So I'm interested to see what they're going to be doing with the future in this collection, whether they're going to allow you to download them to the local hard drive or you're going to have to stream them. I own most of these games anyway, so I'm more than just really curious about how they're going to do it and how they're going to implement it to see if maybe I don't have to use a disc, which is fine. Like, I'll just keep the disc nice and safe on my shelf, and we'll use the digital versions. I mean, most of those games I have them, but I haven't been able to complete them. As an adult, you don't really have a lot of time, so I mean, I want to say that my backlog is ridiculous. So with this new generation coming, I think I'm going to try to play most of those games on the new machines with the higher resolutions and see how it goes. I'm very excited. Staying still with Sony, I'd like to talk about the Ghost of Tsushima Legends DLC that's coming out on October 16th. I'm beyond excited for this. I'm not big of a PvP multiplayer kind of guy, but when it comes to PvE, like the Destiny raids and just I never played WoW, but I heard it. It's similar in a way, not really, but just the group of people against a common goal is more exciting to me than going in and doing Crucible or Deathmatch or any of that stuff. First off, I'm not very good at it. And second off, it's just, it gets boring after a while. So I'm really excited to see what they do with these raids. And I'm really excited to see what art style Sucker Punch is going to be continuing with. So we'll see about that on October 16th. Next up, I wanted to talk about these next generation load times and how incredible they are. 30 seconds to get into a game, I mean, that beats 2 to 3 minutes. I mean, if you've ever played Red Dead Redemption 2, or if you've ever played Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you know what I'm talking about. It takes about 3 or 4 minutes to get into the game with that initial load time. I'm really interested to see what they cut those down to. It's like 30 seconds to 45 seconds, depending. And I think that is going to be a huge quality of life upgrade for all of us. It doesn't seem like a long time to wait, but when you're sitting there waiting to play the game, believe me, it feels like an eternity. I was watching the video that they showed for, it was Godfall. And I'm not really excited about Godfall, but just the video that they show where the guy gets hammered into the ground, and then he gets, literally 2 seconds later, the game is up and he's back at it. I mean, that's exciting. So let's see where that goes. On Friday of last week, I was able to get my hands on Star Wars Squadron for the Xbox One X. Moving on to the Xbox now. I really like the game. The graphics are gorgeous, and the gameplay for me is good. I know a lot of people have been having issues. I have a couple friends that are like, they felt like it didn't feel like flying a ship, and I don't. You know what? I've never flown a ship. I don't know what it is to fly a ship, so it felt fine to me. You know, with the thruster and being able to divert the power of the ship to whatever you needed to do, I thought that was pretty exciting. And I mean, I was in there, I was flying, and I was dogfighting with no problem, so I don't know what they were talking about. Apparently, from what I've seen, the HOTAS setup is really good too. I haven't gotten a chance to try it with either the HOTAS or the VR, but I'm really looking forward to, because I really enjoyed the game. Unfortunately, some people, I being one of them, deal with motion sickness when it comes to these first-person games. And usually, if a game makes me sick, I'm done with it. I mean, I just can't. It hurts. Like, when these games get you down, you gotta take a nap to get over these motion sickness fits, and I just can't. But with a game like Star Wars Squadron, I'm willing to play it in half an hour spurts, or however long I can play until I don't feel well, give it a break, and then try it again. So I would say give it a go. If you're interested in Star Wars Squadrons, I give it the thumbs up, definitely. Moving along, back to PlayStation, I wanted to talk about Bloodborne being back on the PS Plus. This is the first time I've seen Sony put a game back on PS Plus. I'm a huge fan of FromSoft games, even though I'm not very good at them. I really don't have the twitch skills that it takes to dodge and roll and get out of the way of some of these enemies. I know that a lot of my friends have told me it's like a rhythm-based situation. But I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, I've really genuinely tried. I think it takes a particular kind of player to play these games, and obviously it can get a little frustrating when you spend money on a game and you really can't progress because you're not good. But it doesn't matter to me, because FromSoft makes these games that are just so incredibly gorgeous that it doesn't matter how bad I am at them, I still want to play them. And I'm excited to see what they do with Demon Souls, because I've played Demon Souls in the past, and of course I've had my butt whooped in it. I actually booted it up recently on the PlayStation 3 just to check it out again and see how it is. And it kicked my butt again. Even though I really like the fluidity of the character movement and the action, I can't seem to get past that first boss. But I think on the PlayStation 5 I'm going to give it a good old college try, because I mean, I got pretty far in Bloodborne. I think I beat 3 or 4 of the bosses, so it's not like it's impossible for me, but it is incredibly frustrating. Even, I mean, I've heard people that have gone at bosses for up to 3 hours until they beat them. And I understand that the satisfaction that you get after beating one of these bosses is like second to none. And I know the feeling, because in Bloodborne, every time I would beat something, I'm like, oh wow, did I really just pull that off type of situation. But yeah, so I just wanted to remind you guys that Bloodborne's on PS Plus. And if you happen to miss it on PS Plus for whatever reason, I say buy it. I mean, I think you can get it on the PS Plus store on the PlayStation store for like less than $20, and I believe it's going to be in that PlayStation collection that I was talking about earlier. So check out Bloodborne. Now I'd just like to talk about some of the games that I'm looking forward to in the upcoming couple of months. We've got obviously Cyberpunk 2077 that I've been looking forward to since the very beginning. Can't believe that's finally coming out. We're waiting for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I'm very excited for. I actually just finished recently trudging through Odyssey, because I wanted to make sure that I was ready. I didn't want to miss any of the story elements just in case it connected, even though it really didn't. But there was no connection between Odyssey and Origins, but I still enjoyed both games. So I'm really looking forward to see what they do with the Nordic Viking scenario. And from the videos that I've seen, it looks like a lot of fun. The combat looks like it might be a little different from what I'm used to, but I'm willing to try it and give it a go. Other than that, we've got Spider-Man Miles Morales coming out, which is exciting. Demon Souls, which I talked about earlier, which is very exciting. And, that's pretty much it, aside from the stuff that we were already waiting for. And, we'll see what happens with all that. But I'm really excited to see where they're going to take these next generation consoles and what they're going to do with them. Because obviously right now the games that we're getting are these, they're on the last generation and the current generation. So they're not reaching their full potential with these games. I'm really excited to see what they do in the middle of the life cycle towards the end. Like on the PlayStation 4, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us Part 2. These are epically gorgeous games that you couldn't get on the PS3. So, I mean, you always got to wait until the middle to the end of the life cycle to see where they go. Which kind of makes me a little sad considering that Cyberpunk is coming out on this current generation. I'm not sure exactly how much they're going to be able to boost the performance and the graphics coming into the next generation, but we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to the ray tracing. That's I actually got to play Control with the ray tracing enabled, and some people are like, you don't notice it, you take a hit to your performance or whatever, but I notice it, and I feel like it definitely gives the scenery a little bit more of a realistic look. So we'll see what happens with that. In closing today, I'd actually like to talk about a game I got to try on Friday. It's a game called Genshin Impact. If you remember about a year ago when they started announcing this game, people were up in arms because they felt it was like a Breath of the Wild ripoff on the PlayStation. And there was this one cat, I don't remember where he was, but he took his PS4 Pro and smashed it to the ground over this game, which I'm like, why? Why would you do that? That's silly. I mean, that's a, $400, $500 machine right now? Like, take it easy, buddy. It's just a video game. So I got to try it, and I gotta say I was really impressed with the visuals. The combat left a little to be desired. The melee combat, I didn't get that far into the game, so maybe it evolves. But the visuals were really where it was at. Yeah, it definitely has that Breath of the Wild vibe to it. But I feel like the graphical enhancement take it up a notch. And I just felt like I was looking at an anime. And that to me was very striking, and I really enjoyed it. But it's a free-to-play game, which, obviously there's going to be microtransactions at some point. And I'm not crazy about those kind of games. I feel like if I get to I understand you probably can grind to beat some of these bosses, but I mean, how much are they going to make you grind? It's going to be like Assassin's Creed where like the grinding was so bad that they offered a booster so that to make the grind. This is the kind of stuff that I don't really like in games nowadays. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, Nintendo definitely made the game so difficult that you had to call Nintendo Power to get past these games. So it's kind of like a similar situation where you're paying to progress. But I don't feel like that's right. I feel like if you pay your $60, well, with Genshin it's free, so it doesn't really fall into this category. But if you pay your $60, I feel like you should get your entire content right there and be able to play it from front to back without having to pay money to get past any sort of part. I mean, it kind of kills the replayability in my opinion as well. So I don't know. We'll see what it is. But I just wanted to kind of touch on this game and say that if you have a PS4 Pro, I would give it a look. It's free to play. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Personally, I would have preferred a combat system akin to the game that was once known as Gods and Monsters. It's now called Immortals Phoenix Rising. Similar situation where the graphics look very, very much like Breath of the Wild, but I mean, it definitely, this one to me looks more like a Breath of the Wild ripoff than Genshin Impact. But the combat in that game looks really, really engaging and really, really fun. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that and see where they take the combat with that. Because I mean, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is the game that the creators of Immortals Phoenix Rising made before, was great. I loved it. So we'll see what they do with this game. And, we're looking forward to that. But that's it for me today, guys. I appreciate you guys spending your time with me. I know it was a little bit amateurish. It's an amateur hour here. It's my first video. But I had a lot of fun making it for you guys. And I hope that I can see you in the future in the streams that I have planned, or in the chats when I have, I'm going to have chats where I, just kind of try to connect with my viewers and, try to take that route and see where we go. There's a world ahead of me right now, and I'm like, I'm taking it one day at a time. This is really tough. Being a YouTuber is really way more difficult than these guys make it look. So, give these guys their props, like their videos, subscribe, because they really, really put a lot of effort into these videos. And I mean, I'm a YouTube watcher, so, it's like you take a look to see what they do, and you really, really enjoy their content. But then when you try to do what they do, you're like, wow, this is all the effort that they put into this. So, you know, definitely a lot of props to them. If you could like and subscribe my video, I'd really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for your time, and you guys have a great day.